Yeah, I think we're live right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Hello everyone. This is Dalster and welcome to another Mental Health Talks, number 10. And today I'm going to be talking about the mental challenges of being a YouTuber. And joining me is none other than Wrestling Tatiana. What would you like to be called?
You just call me Tati. That's fine.
Okay, I'm here with Tati today, and we're going to be talking about the mental challenges of being a YouTuber. If you would like to donate, you could click on my bio, and it should say the URL PayPal because I know when I use Stream Elements, it's very difficult. So I decided to just leave the PayPal there. But
Mm-hmm.
if you would like to subscribe, go ahead and subscribe. And just to let all my YouTubers know, I'll probably be re-uploading this, and it'll probably be in the video tabs and not the live tab. I'm just letting everyone know. But I hope you guys enjoy the video and,
Mm-hmm.
be nice to yourselves and everyone around you. And I'll start for today. So, Tati, what brings you in today?
Well, I've been watching your mental health talks, and the first one that I saw was the very first episode, and I thought that's pretty brave for someone to come on a public platform and talk about their, mental health status. And I, I've always found it interesting to hear others talk about any type of mental health talk, topics. But I've always wanted to do it myself. But I was like, I need someone to do this with because it's not easy for a lot of people to talk about anything that they may be dealing with mentally.
Okay, I just want you to know that this is a safe space. So if anyone ever bullies or harasses or sends any hate mail, they will be blocked in the chat. So
Mm-hmm.
whatever you want to say, you could say here.
Okay, thanks. I appreciate that.
So, the reason why I wanted to do it is because I actually went to Cal State Long Beach in Long Beach, California, and I've always wanted to be a therapist, but unfortunately, I ended up working or studying for human development, and I ended up um graduating with a bachelor's degree in that department. And since
Mm-hmm.
then, I've been trying to apply for therapy jobs or something like that, but I haven't had any luck because a lot of them they require driver's license. So when I was watching this YouTuber a couple months ago, they were doing like a chat column, and I just got really inspired and influenced to do something like this.
Mm-hmm. Sounds like a great idea. So you need a driver's license to like travel from place to place, basically.
Yeah, sadly, in California, you kind of need it because otherwise, they won't let you. I guess they won't let you do what you like, whatever you want. Like, like I guess it's like personal, private reasons. Because I've asked some of them, and they're like, "Yeah, we can't use Uber because the our patients
Really?
or clients they need like their we can't something about privacy and stuff." And I'm like, "What? Ugh, all right."
That's very interesting.
Yeah, it kind of stinks because there are some jobs that I'm pretty eligible, but they all require driver's license here in California.
Mm-hmm. You don't like to drive?
I mean, I want to. It's just that the problem is that I failed my first test at the DMV a couple years ago, and unfortunately, that
Mm-hmm.
ended up like affecting everything. And last year, I can't remember what month it was, but they finally threw my case, and they're like, "Oh, you could just go to any regular DMV now. You don't need to go
Mm-hmm.
through us and all that stuff." And I was like, "Ah, fine." It kind of stinks because I felt like it took like almost 10 years just to fix that thing with the DMV.
Wow, that's a long
Yeah.
time. So are you ready to go back?
Well, I'm planning to practice pretty soon. I was supposed to
Mm-hmm.
practice this month, but I've been really busy, uploading videos, and then I have work and
Right.
all that other stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't get my license until 2022. And a lot of people are like, well, you're like 30 and you don't have your license. And I'm just like, I'm a New Yorker. We take public transportation everywhere. I'm so used to that it did never bothered me that I didn't have my license. So for me, I just thought it was interesting that people thought that I should get a license, and I did get a license in 2022. I got a car, and I found it to be convenient. I didn't even really use it every day, honestly. I barely used it, but it was convenient to have. And then, unfortunately, I got into a car accident and I fractured my neck and tore my shoulder. So I have not driven since then because of the fear. I just
Oh,
can't. Yeah.
yeah. Sorry to hear about that. That must be hard. Did you go to physical therapy?
Oh, yeah. So I had to do physical therapy because I really didn't want to get my neck operated on because I fractured my C5 and C6. And I was like, there's no way. I can't get it operated on. Let me try my best with the therapy and hopefully I don't have to get surgery. So I did that for I don't even know how many months, but close to a year. And it's crazy because I still kept doing YouTube videos and I didn't tell a soul about what happened to me because I didn't want anyone to feel bad or whatever. So what I was doing was I would record my YouTube videos. I would do like I don't know, like 2 minutes at a time, and then I would pause, and then I would take a break. 2 minutes at a time again, pause, take a break, and I kept doing it that way because that was the only way that I can actually sit down and do the videos. Because when you fracture your neck, you don't realize how much of your whole entire back. You don't realize how much your neck is part of your back. You know what I mean? So when you sit down,
Yeah.
it's really really painful. So I had to keep breaking my YouTube videos in order to record them because I could not sit longer than 2 minutes.
Yeah, I was like that too. I remember when I started sitting on the floor. I don't know. I kind of got used to it. It's mostly because my dad doesn't like it when me and my brothers were like laying in our beds all day doing nothing.
Oh
And
yeah, I know what you mean.
yeah, I had a really weird dad. But so I started sitting on the floor, and then like as I got older, it started affecting my back a lot, and I started going to
Hmm.
chiropractor a lot. And so after that, I started buying like pillows, and then my brother was kind enough to give me a beanbag for Christmas this last year. Yeah, last year.
Hmm.
And I haven't had any problems. I mean, my back does hurt a little bit, but I'm just trying not to l- sit on the floor because my back is has been very sensitive with the floor.
Hmm. Right,
But
they have these special cushions that you can sit on that's supposed to be good for your back. I've tried a few. Only one of them was comfortable, and I don't even know where I got it from. And I wish I knew where I got it from. I would buy it again, but it worn out.
that stinks. Yeah, because my brother bought this beanbag, and I think the more you sit on it, the more like it starts like getting really smaller and flatter.
Hmm.
Yeah, because I've
I
had a
bet.
lot of those. Yeah, but I think he told me that he has like a warranty or something like that.
Oh, then you probably can get a new one.
Yeah, but I'll probably wait because me and my brother's kind of a hothead. um, so what kind of mental struggles do you go through on YouTube?
Oh man. Actually, I started doing YouTube videos to handle my mental struggles outside of YouTube. I had lost my mom in 2020 and I had a really hard time just finding an outlet to just keep my mind busy. And I spiraled into a really bad depression and I had no clue how to get better. And I've always been a wrestling fan since I was a kid, but I kind of fell out of love with wrestling. I guess at the time WWE was a little boring for me, and I just wasn't
Yeah,
keeping up with it as much. So by 2021, the depression got worse, and I was afraid to actually speak to a professional. And I just decided that I'd have to find something to keep me occupied mentally. So I started watching AEW. I didn't care for it at first, but it took a while before I really got into it. And then eventually I got back to watching WWE. And what really made me started doing the videos was Dark Side of the Ring season 3 came out, And I was like so blown away by that episode. I was like, oh my God, I need to talk to somebody about this, you know? During that
Yeah.
time, I was in a relationship, but he just didn't care about wrestling. So I was like, okay, I need to talk to somebody about it. Let me see what I can do. And then I remembered that I had a YouTube channel that I used like, I don't know, like 10 years ago. And I took a while to get the password and I did my first upload and I was so nervous. Like I was super, super nervous. I didn't know what people would think. I thought that, oh man, my video is going to be low quality. No one's going to care. No one's going to watch. And people did watch, you know, like I'm grateful even if I have like 10 people watching my videos. Like it doesn't really matter to me how little or how big of an audience that I have. This whole thing was for me to clear my mind, and the more and more I did videos, the more I found myself, at least during the time that I'm making the videos, I felt better mentally. I felt like I didn't have to worry about anything that was bothering me. All I had to focus on was making this video, talking about a thing that I loved so much in my life, which is pro wrestling, and uploading it to share with other people. And then, those subscribers, those viewers would be engaging too. And that just made me feel better at the time.
Oh, that's cool. I mean,
Hmm.
I'm sorry about your mom, though. That must have been hard.
Oh God, probably the most difficult thing I guess I can say is the most difficult thing is not necessarily that she passed away because not to sound harsh, but death is part of life. The issue for me was she had cancer and I was living in Florida during the time, and when she told me she had it, I kind of felt like the way she said it was like, I don't have enough time. She didn't say that specifically, but it was just the way she told me about the cancer. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to drop everything in my life right now and go stay with you in New York. So I left Florida, went to New York and stayed with her. And I watched her disintegrate every day a little bit more. And it was just like watching someone slowly die, and was that is very traumatic to me because of that experience. Till this day I have insomnia, so I'd be lucky if I get like 3 hours of sleep every night, because honestly every night all I see is my mom suffering. And this is why I do the whole YouTube thing, because it's actually something that helps me escape that for a while.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand. I mean, from what I heard is that some people sometimes they just have to like take off the plug, and so that way, their loved ones could like die peacefully, and they could finally rest and not have to hold on to something
Hmm. Right. So
or something like
unfortunately,
that.
that was not the case for my mom. My mom, so she was taking chemotherapy, but it was really rough on her body, and she kept taking it because she didn't want like my siblings and I to feel bad. And it's really tough to look at your parent and say, "Mom, if you don't want to fight anymore, you don't have to. It's okay. We'll be fine." And once we told her that, she stopped the chemotherapy, went home, and it took about 3 weeks before she passed away. And so she was up for the most part, or she was like barely awake on like morphine and things like that. So it took a while before it actually happened, but every day you can see something of her not be the same until the point that she passed away. So cancer can be really different for certain people, because at that point that's when it spreads throughout the whole body. So it really depends on how bad it is. There's different stages, so certain people is different for others. But I wish that was the case where it was just like, okay, there's a plug to pull and it's over, then that would have kept her from suffering.
Yeah. No, I understand because like I think when I was young, I had to go through like over 20 surgeries, and I remember during the last few, my parents were like, "Okay, just this surgery and that's it, no more. No, you can't do any
Hmm.
more surgeries. It's too much." And
Were
so
you
I
really young?
yeah, I think I was like 4 or 5 months old when I had my first surgery because they had to remove the cleft palate on my lip. And
Mhm.
when my parents said that supposedly when the doctor brought me in, they're like, "Okay, who's this baby? Are you sure this is ours? Because she looks a lot different." I'm like, "Oh, yeah, it's me."
Mhm.
But I don't know. I mean, I think maybe it's probably because my parents have seen a lot. Like they see me throw up and like vomit blood. Well, during the last surgeries, yeah, I was vomiting blood because of all the my nose surgeries were mostly like inside, and then like I couldn't go to
Mhm.
school. I remember there was at one point where I had to use crutches because they
What?
removed a piece of my hip bone and put it inside my root my mouth, the top of my mouth, in order for the dentist to move around my teeth with the braces and stuff.
Wow, that must have been tough.
Yeah, but luckily I recovered real fast. I mean, it only took like less than a week.
Well, how old were you when you had your last surgery?
I think I was like 19, 18.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, I'm currently
Well,
30.
yeah, that must have been tough. So even while you were in school, you were still having more surgeries. Like, was that like your parents' decision, or was that the doctor saying you should do these surgeries?
Well, it was kind of a bit of both because I don't know. I guess when I was growing up, it was like really difficult. I mostly had like one surgery a year, but it was really difficult because I had to endure a lot of people glaring and staring at me for years at elementary
Mhm.
school, and unfortunately, that followed until my adult life. And I've been trying to tell myself every day, try not to be a jerk to people because I had some people complain to my mom saying that, "Oh, your daughter was so mean to me. She was glaring at me and stuff." And I'm like,
Mhm.
"Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be so rude."
Right.
But it's just something I'm trying to overcome because it happened in the past, and I can't really change it, unfortunately.
Right, but those type of things do stick with you for a long time, especially if you got bullied for any reason. You might, even as an adult, take that trauma with you,
No,
and that
yeah,
might
like
like that might get in the way for you having like, new opportunities in your life because you're so you know, kind of stuck in the past about things that's happened to you. And, I get it. I think I don't want to say everybody, but I would say most people have endured some type of form of bullying. And, I really feel bad about what happened with you getting bullied or whatnot. But I say kids are like the worst when it comes to
yeah.
something that's different. They'll pick on anything about you that's different to bully. And I can understand how that could be traumatic.
No, yeah, like I tried to tell my mom about it this morning, but she just doesn't seem to understand where I'm coming from when it comes to like
Mhm.
stuff like this. I mean, I remember when she told me that this woman, me and her, I guess we were on the bus when I was younger, and a woman told her, "Hey, why does your daughter look like that?"
Oh,
And I,
no.
yeah, and that was a long time ago though. But and I was like, "Oh, I thought it was just the kids that said like, oh, what happened to your face?" But I
What?
guess some adults were like curious, like, "Hey, what happened to your daughter? Is she okay? Did something happen to her face?"
Mhm. Oh, no. I mean, even as a stranger, I know people might be curious about things, but I don't think I would approach somebody and say that,
I
because you
think it
never
was
know
an
what their
older,
response is gonna be.
yeah, I think it was an older woman though. She probably doesn't have like, or she probably didn't understand at the time. I don't know.
Mhm. Right, a lot of people can be insensitive and not really realize that even if they're being curious that what they're asking is, like, a really big deal, and certain things you're better off just not asking about.
Yeah, like for example, I have a cousin, and I didn't notice this until my brothers pointed it out. They're like, "Hey, what happened to her ear? Her ear looks weird." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And I looked at it. I was like, "Oh crap! I didn't realize her ear would look like that." And I told my mom,
Mhm.
"Hey, what happened to her cousin's ear?" And then she said that, "Oh, she had surgery, and she had like some kind of birth defect when she was born." I'm like, "Oh, okay. I didn't understand. I didn't know."
Right, I understand, like, sometimes, like, people are born with certain things that is just normal to them, but to other people, they don't see it that way, so yeah, I understand. You can be curious, but especially adults, they shouldn't. you know, go on and ask a child or a parent like what happened to your child. Like I think that's pretty rude.
Yeah. Have you ever had anything like that in your life?
Um, Not that per se. The one thing that's been a struggle for me growing up was being the black gothic kid and my
Oh
mom
yeah.
being super religious, and people from the church is like, well, why is your daughter dressing like that? Why is her hair color that color? Why is it was a lot of pressure for me because when you're a teenager, you're trying to figure yourself out, and when you think you
Uh-huh.
finally figure yourself out, then you have other people telling you that the way you are is wrong. You know what I mean? That was a huge struggle for me growing up, and I still consider myself the black goth kid regardless, even till this day. But it took so long for me to just tell my mom, like, mom, this is me, and nothing's going to change. That's one of the last things I told her before I went to New York when she was sick. I told her, I said, look, mom, exactly how you didn't want me to be as a teenager is how I am now. I still dress the same, still listen to rock music. Everything is exactly the same, you know? And it's tough living with religious parents because they kind of do want to control you in that aspect to believe what they believe. But I just never been that type of person to believe that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, cuz I when I was little, when I was in high school, I remember there was this girl. She was kind of like the same as you, dressed goth and everything, and I'm like, "Oh, I've never seen that with black people before. Like that's kind of rare."
It's so rare, trust me, it really is.
Yeah, and I started talking to her, but we haven't talked that much. I think I don't know what happened to her, but when I first saw her, I'm like, "Oh, you're so cool," because like you're all. Well, I didn't tell her that, but I wanted to tell her you're so cool, trying to dress up in goth, and even though you're black, and usually black people they like rap and hip hop and gangster stuff.
Yeah, actually, I know it sounds like a stereotype, but like I'm from Brooklyn, so everybody was into the whole rap and hip hop culture, whatever they're wearing in those music videos. People wanted to dress like that. And me, I was just like, no, not me. It was so different. And I did not see a lot of, it was so rare for me to see other black girls, um, you know, doing the same thing. And it's just like, I kind of that's what makes you feel a lot of pressure when you feel like it's just you doing something. And when you see other people doing the same thing as you or into the same thing as you kind of feel a little validation. And I just could not find anyone to relate to during that time. So yeah, I got picked on a lot for just wearing the things that I wore. And it really sucked.
Yeah, it must have sucked because like I think I remember I saw I can't remember where it was, but on Facebook I saw on a reel or something, and this there was this black guy, and he was like all dressed up in emo, and he's like, "Oh, we black people dress up as emo too," and I'm like, "Oh, okay, I didn't know about that."
Yeah, I mean, there is a whole culture. Even Latinos do the same too. But I feel like they're rare to find too. It seems to be more when it comes to Caucasian people, but there are, goth and emo Latinos and blacks. I just feel like they're just a little hard to find.
No, yeah, there's like a lot over here where I live. It's just that they're very too emo-ish. I met a few when I was in high school, and some of them aren't really that nice people.
Yeah, in terms of emos, they kind of get a bad rep for not being nice because they're supposed to be emotional all the time. I don't know. I've never felt like I've fit in that group though.
Yeah, I've never been in that group either, mostly because a lot of people who I know and recently this year who listen to emo music, they're in reality they're like not really nice people.
Yeah, there's a little reputation that comes with that. I understand.
But I don't know. I was never emo in high school. I was more like a rocker type, more like
hmm
into like rock music. I couldn't wear makeup because my parents were very strict about me wearing makeup to school until I got into my senior year. Then they were like, "No, it's fine. You could wear it."
Right. I didn't do the makeup thing either because I know like a lot of people think like, oh, in order for you to be goth. You have to wear a lot of makeup, and I've actually never been a fan of makeup. I just dress the part, but the makeup, I've never been a fan of that. I do wear makeup in my videos, just like eyeshadow, lip gloss. That's literally the extent of it. Like, I don't go heavy with makeup like other people do. I'm not that much of a fan of it.
I mean, I've been kind of getting into makeup a little bit, but it's mostly like, just to be creative and stuff. But yeah,
Oh, I
that's.
suck at it. I suck. I wish I was better, but you could just watch, people on YouTube doing tutorials and things like that, and I still feel like I like you can watch and it looks like, oh, this is easy. Then you do it, and you're like, holy moly, I look like a clown.
Yeah, I think my parents say that too when I try to um put on makeup sometimes. They're like, "Oh, you put way too much."
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's another one too, because sometimes I'm like, oh my God, did I do too much? Or I don't know. Unfortunately, I don't have any female friends where I live. And if I did, I would have just been like, hey girl, do I look okay? If I look silly, let me know. I'll take this off. But I haven't been able to make any friends yet. So when I do, that would be pretty cool.
Oh, okay. Yeah, hopefully you do. I wanted to ask you, when you first started YouTube, like, were you afraid to like expose, like show your face when you first
Oh,
started YouTube?
absolutely. And let me tell you, you might not believe me, but I still am afraid till this day. I get really nervous about it sometimes. Like right now, we're not showing our faces, and I feel the most comfortable that I've ever felt doing a video because I don't have to show my face. Um, you know, Not to sound vain or anything, but I do get a lot of people who say, "Oh, you look very pretty," but I honestly don't feel that way about myself. And there's times where I recorded videos and I watch it back and I'm just like, "Oh my God, you are just so unattractive," and I would literally delete the video,
Oh,
literally.
yeah. That's also one of the reasons why I don't show my face on YouTube is because like I get really nervous and but people I haven't received that much hate comments actually.
Hmm.
I mean, I do upload some reels on Instagram and TikTok with my face, but it's usually when I'm at my best because when I'm at my worst, I don't look good.
Right. I mean, I feel the same way too. And I think a lot of women struggle with this. Like even even if you would consider someone to be beautiful, they might not feel that way. And that's an issue when it comes for a lot of women who are on YouTube, especially for me. I cover wrestling. Majority of my audience are men. That is a lot of pressure because they are just looking at you. You know what I mean? Like they're looking at your
Yeah.
face, looking at what you're wearing. And I'm just like, holy moly, it kind of makes me feel a little bit uncomfortable. And when I first started the YouTube thing, I did start off with video and then I felt a little uncomfortable about showing myself. So then I did do some content where I was just talking on a microphone. And honestly, I sucked at that. So I was just because like I'm not great at editing or anything. So after a while, I had to stop doing it. And I just told myself, no matter how you feel, just get on the camera and just do your thing. I don't think anybody necessarily cares how you look like. Most people don't care.
Yeah, I mean, there's that, but then I don't know. I've seen a lot of TikToks where some people like this girl with Down syndrome, and she's like just dancing, and then some people make really harsh comments on her. I'm like, why are people
Really?
so mean? Yeah, like there's this TikTok account called the Great Londini, and he tracks down a bunch of bullies, and
Really?
yeah, and he shows like examples of people getting bullied. I'm like, why are people so evil?
Right. Honestly, I've never in my mind even thought, oh, well, I don't find this person attractive. So let me write that in the comments. If you don't find them attractive, you literally don't even have to say that.
Yeah, but I don't know. Yeah, that is true. It's just it depends on how rude the person is because I know there are some rude YouTubers on here that are just I don't know if it's because of their behavior that makes them ugly or they're just like
Oh,
insecure or
yeah,
something.
absolutely. Yeah, a lot of times they have insecurities and their outlet is to bully people about something that may be insecure, like maybe an insecurity for them, you know? So
Yeah.
I just really don't get that, you know? They just don't have anything better to do. Like I've never had any like hate comments really on my videos. Only one time some guy told me you should eat less snacks, and I was just like, holy
What?
wow. Yeah, I laughed honestly. I was just like, that's interesting. If that's the meanest thing you can come up with, then I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I mean, I give you props for like showing yourself on YouTube because I do watch some of your videos, and
hmm
every time I'm like, should I really show my face? I mean, she's doing it, and I should do it too. But I don't know. I still get kind of nervous.
Yeah, I get nervous. Like I do my live videos a few times a week, and honestly, sometimes I have to just mentally prepare myself. I know sometimes people have a perception of people, like they probably think that, oh, that I wouldn't be afraid to come on camera. And it's not that I'm afraid to come on camera. It's just that I have my insecurities, and I I would have felt better if I didn't have to come on camera. But because I've been doing it for so long, I just keep doing it that way. And I don't know like how to explain it, but I do feel sometimes some pressure because, with my audience being mainly men.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when I started talking about wrestling. I think one of the first videos I did was the Bella Twins rant when they were in the Hall of Fame, and I got really upset.
Oh
And
yeah.
yeah, and some people were very understanding, but I was really scared because there are some wrestling fans that are just not the nicest people.
Oh, no. Oh, no. I totally agree. And that's one of the things that's made me nervous in terms of doing wrestling videos because a lot of the guys are just I don't even know what word to describe, but they are so nasty with their comments, and they'll
Yeah,
say things to literally make you go to bed and cry. They really don't care. Luckily, and I hope for you too that you've had people to come by on your content and not go that far. Because I've seen on other people's YouTube channels where they have like really bad comments, and I'm just like,
yeah, me too.
wow,
I've seen it in their
what makes you
channels
just
too.
go off and say that? It's just crazy. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Well, it took a while, and then one of my first videos I saw from you was the Dark Side of the Ring, and I got really into it. I was like, maybe I should do it too, because I really got
Mhm.
into Dark Side of the Ring, and I always have something to talk about. But I mean, I don't really have a lot of friends to talk to about it because a lot of them are not really wrestling fans. They're more like just into other stuff. And
Yeah,
you
me
know,
too.
my brothers, they're really into wrestling. Like they went to WrestleMania last year when WrestleMania was in LA, and I was like, luckies.
Wait, they went without you?
No, it's just that what happened was that they had their tickets. They had a friend who had tickets already, and I guess they
Mhm.
went out without me. But I wanted to get my own tickets, but I was struggling with obtaining a job, and because I pay with my own things,
Right.
I pay. Well, when I went to WrestleMania, like SmackDown recently, last year, a year ago, actually, I that was all me. I paid on my with my own money, and I don't know.
Mhm.
It was kind of like expensive WrestleMania, and also I didn't know how to get there too.
Oh, yeah. That's the most expensive wrestling show to go to. I was actually looking at the tickets last week. I was like, I know it's in Philly, but I know people who live in that area, so I don't have to worry about, expensive hotels or whatever. I looked at the tickets and I was just so shocked how expensive they were because I've been to WrestleMania before and it was not that expensive like over 10 years ago. And now it's too much. I think they charging a little bit too much, especially now that there's 2 nights of WrestleMania. You would think that
Yeah,
the tickets would be a little bit cheaper, but
it's
they're
probably
not.
because it's probably because the stadiums get really packed or something.
Yeah, so I see they obviously sold most of their tickets. They do still have some good seats left, but those are way past $1,000. And you're still not even that close to the ring. Like you
No,
probably will
yeah,
still have to
cause
look at the monitor to see good.
yeah, cause when my brothers they went to WrestleMania, and they posted on Instagram through Insta story. They were like really above the stadium. I'm like, how the heck are you able to see the ring that far? I couldn't even
Right.
see it.
I would prefer to be as close as I can afford, but WrestleMania, they have such a bigger stadium when they do these shows, so the further you are, the less you're going to be able to see.
Yeah, I mean that's when I first bought those SmackDown tickets. I think they were like $300, and plus I went to go see Undertaker after the Hall of Fame, which was like
What?
around. Yeah, it was fun. it
You
was
wait a
around,
minute, you met him?
well, I didn't meet him, but I saw him from the audience because I guess there was no way you could meet the Undertaker or something like that.
Mhm.
I don't know. It was my first time going there to the Dead Man show when they went to LA. I had to
I
get a
am
hotel.
so jealous. Oh
Yeah,
my
I
god,
even
I
did
keep trying to get these tickets. I keep trying.
a.
How'd you get it?
Well, when they first announced it, they were like, "Oh, we're gonna have the tickets on this day," and I'm like, "Oh, okay, so I'll get the tickets right now." And I managed to get them the day they said that they were gonna open, like have the tickets available.
Uh-huh. Wow, you're so lucky. Every time that they go on sale and I try to get them, it's like sold out within 5 minutes, and I never get a chance to even try to buy it.
Really? I mean, it took me like a couple hours, and then I was like, "Oh, I'll just go." I mean, this is like a once in a lifetime opportunity.
Hmm. Yeah, so I've met him. Like he is just everything to me. He's the reason why I got into wrestling to begin with. But the shows that I've tried to go to, I tried to go to like shows in the surrounding states, but I've never tried to go to the one you said in LA.
Yeah,
When
it
you
was
went to
like
yeah,
from
okay.
across. It was from
Right.
the
I've never
the
tried that
Staples
one.
Center.
Mhm.
From the crypto area. It was like right close by it, so it wasn't that hard to find after SmackDown
So
was over.
so you were able to get the tickets hours later after they were on sale?
Oh no, it's like a couple days ago before like the show started, like a couple months ago,
What?
I think. Yeah.
That is very interesting because everywhere that I've tried to go, it's sold out in minutes and then that's it. Like literally don't have another chance to go. But I'm still looking out just to see. He was supposed to go to Houston in January. The second that they said that the ticket was on sale, I bought it. I bought it and I was so excited. And then all of a sudden, he was replaced by Sting, and I was like, "I like Sting, but I don't want to see Sting," you know. So
Oh.
I just got my refund because it wasn't what I wanted.
Let me see. Have you ever been to WrestleCon? I know WrestleCon they have a lot more wrestlers and stuff.
Oh man, no. I think they're the ones that's around like WrestleMania time, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I was trying to remember what the name was the other day, but I couldn't remember because I know they're going to be in Philadelphia. They already have a list of wrestlers that's going to be doing meet and greets. I would absolutely love going to something like that. You know, I've been to like conventions before. They're mostly like anime and comic book stuff, and that's not really my thing. But you know, once in a while there are wrestlers at these events, so I would go for that, but for a convention with just wrestling, holy, I would fall in love. I wouldn't even know where to begin.
No, yeah, cause like I remember they were in Vegas a couple years ago, and I was like, "Hey, mom, if I go to Vegas, would you get mad?" And she's like, "Well, it's your money, so." And I'm like,
Right.
"Oh," and I was gonna go, but it was way too expensive.
Oh, I'm pretty sure. I've looked at like Vegas. Like you could probably find like a cheap hotel, but the activities that you want to do there, all that stuff is going to add up to a lot of money. A lot.
Yes, yeah, I've been trying to save up money too because I'm thinking about going to Seattle for the 30th anniversary of Kurt Cobain's death because it's coming up pretty soon, but I don't know if I'll be able
Mhm.
to.
Right. I mean, when it comes to going to like different events, because I've seen you post like different types of events. I think you went to a concert the other day.
Yeah, I went to mostly like if it's like close by here in Orange County in California where I live, I usually go try
Hmm.
to go to them. But if it's like far, I would have to like try to get a hotel or something because I don't
Hmm.
really have a lot of relatives in California.
So where are most of your family?
Most of them are in Mexico, actually.
Oh, pretty interesting. Have you been there?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I've been there sometimes. It's just it's not like I could see why Mexicans come over here to California because if I were living in Mexico, I wouldn't want to live there either.
What part of Mexico?
Somewhere around Acapulco. It's like a really hidden village. Like it's like hardly in the map.
Oh, so it's kind of remote. So it's
Yeah.
not like hmm. So no one in your family in Mexico live like in a bigger city like Mexico City.
No, I wish they did.
I would love to go. You do hear some unfortunate horror stories coming from Mexico, but let's be honest, there's horror stories in America too.
Oh
So
yeah,
nowhere's
a lot
perfect.
darker.
Yeah. Yeah, I would definitely like to go. My daughter is half Mexican, so I would love to take her. I try to, teach her about the Mexican culture and whatnot. So, she's actually 40% indigenous. So, I don't really know what type of Native American culture that is from Mexico, but I try to teach her a bit about the culture so she can know what it's like. But I would definitely love to go over there.
Oh, she's Native American too? Or
Yeah, so, like, a lot of people from Mexico are Native American, and, I knew that she would have Native American blood, so I actually did a DNA test on her, and she turned out to be 40% indigenous. I was like, "Whoa," I was just expecting, like, 10% or something. That's almost half, actually, so I was
oh,
kinda
that's
surprised about that.
cool. Yeah, because
Mhm.
for some reason, I always find Native American history interesting for whatever reason.
Mhm.
And I don't know if it's because of my grandma, because when I see pictures of my grandma, like you look at her and she's like, wow, this woman looks like Native American.
Yeah, yeah, a lot of people from Mexico are, and, I would say it has to be more than half of Mexican would have to be, Native American, so if you ever take one of those, DNA tests, they're usually on sale during Black Friday. That's when I, got one for my daughter, because
Oh, okay.
they used to be so expensive. I'm
Yeah,
always looking
I
for good
bet.
deals, so whenever Black Friday come around, I'm looking to see, like, what's the best deal and who got the best deal, you know? So I think I end up getting it for like 50 bucks, and it's usually like more than $100 to get one of those tests. So I was able to get it
Oh,
pretty cheap. But you have to wait like when you buy them around the holiday time, you're gonna wait a long time to get your results because everybody's trying to get it cheap too.
okay. Yeah, it feels like
Mhm.
nowadays, like I've noticed with a lot of people, like they seem to buy around the holidays or just some random like Labor Day or Easter to get better deals because everything's so
Mhm.
expensive nowadays.
Oh yes, especially after the pandemic, it's just been horrible. Even buying groceries, it's just you have to pick and choose. Should I buy this or not? Because this is just way too expensive, you know?
Yeah, I used to buy hot Cheetos every single week, which is why I don't show myself on YouTube because I got a little chubby from them. But I rarely buy
Oh
hot
my
Cheetos.
god. I love hot fries. They're a little bit of my weakness, so I try not to get them when I see them. But I love them so much.
Or Starbucks.
I've actually never had Starbucks, never, and
How?
I don't even know how. When I think about it, I'm like, "How did I never had that?" Especially living in Florida, you cannot escape Starbucks. They are everywhere, and somehow I
Yeah.
just never had it. Well, I'm not a coffee person, but I know they have other things other than coffee, but I've just never found myself going in there to get anything.
Yeah, I mean the coffee beans also kind of good too. It's like Starbucks, but I feel like they're more like how do you say it? More coffee-ish than Starbucks in a way.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, do they have well, honestly, I'm not really sure what else they have at Starbucks. I've never been in there before. But I know they have, like, I know my daughter told me something about, like, these I think, like, a lollipop cake or
Oh
something
yeah,
like
cake
that.
pops. Yeah,
Oh,
cake
cake
pops.
pops? Okay, yeah, she told me about that, and I was like, "You sure that's Starbucks?" Because obviously she's never been to Starbucks, but, um I ended up finding the very same thing at Walmart one time, and she had it and she didn't really care for it. So
Oh, so do you have any other kids, or is it just your daughter?
just one, just one. I would actually love to have one more, but I want to be married and happy with someone because like relationships nowadays is just it's really tough to find a really good man, you know,
No,
and
yeah, it is. I mean, trust me, I've had a lot of bad experiences with men, and I never even dated them either.
it's crazy. I'm telling you, like I had a child with someone. If I could take it back, I still wouldn't because I love my daughter, but I wish I never had to deal with that person. But
Oh,
after him, I had a relationship for almost 8 years, and for the most part, things were pretty good. And then, like after my mom passed away, is when he became a totally different person. And, because I couldn't talk to him about anything, even about my mom's death, I couldn't talk to him about wrestling, nothing. That's why I was like so heavy into doing the whole YouTube thing because I felt like that was my only outlet because I couldn't get it anywhere else. And after being with somebody for so long, and then when things ended, I was just like, oh my gosh, men are not that great.
yeah.
So
Trust me, I get like that all the time.
'cause, like, when you watch, like, videos online, you see people that seem to be in perfect relationships, and then
Exactly.
I'm just like, "Well, where are you finding these good people from?" And the truth is that they might not even really be great people, because a lot of people, they lie in front of the camera, but I do know that there
Oh,
are
yeah,
some
that's
good
so
people out
true.
there. Right, there are good people out there, and it just seems to be really hard to find those people, and, and since I was in a relationship for so long, it's kind of a little bit difficult right now because I've been so used to it. But I'm still, happy with being on my own right now. That's cool or whatnot. And, being in a relationship with someone who doesn't support what you do, like being a content creator. I actually never said that about myself. I never described myself as a YouTuber or content creator. I just want to go somewhere and just talk about wrestling. And YouTube does allow people to come on and pretty much talk about almost anything. And
Yeah.
I really do enjoy it. So like I would tell people just come on and have some fun. You'll get a following. It could take forever or it could be overnight, whatever the situation is. Just have fun. People will enjoy your content more if they know that you enjoy making it.
Yeah, cause there was this guy I had a crush on. He was a YouTuber, and he seemed like a really nice guy. But the problem was that when I was on his Twitch streams, he would just like, if you say something really offensive, he would get really mad, like really mad at you. And
Mm-hmm.
just to make a quick story real short, I went on the stream and I guess I got really upset because he had a guest on, and I said something because I was in a taxi ride on my way to work, and I got really mad at this woman in the taxi. It was a wheelchair woman, and she was like complaining, and I was like, ugh, I hate this lady. And then I typed, the lady in the back is so annoying, and he thought I was talking about his guest, but I wasn't. I was actually talking about the lady in the taxi. And right when I went to
Oh.
work, I immediately went to work and told my manager what happened, because I kind of share some things with my manager about stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
I went on Discord and I realized he was texting me, like he instantly texted me that fast, and I'm like, whoa, what the heck? And I when I saw it, I was very sad, hurt, and very crushed, because he
Did you
said, oh,
explain?
yeah, I tried to, but there was just no way with this guy. I mean, he has a big YouTube
Mhm.
platform, and that's the reason why I did that video a couple weeks ago about telling my story, and why I never mentioned his name, because I was afraid, because I didn't want to be one of those people that exposes people only to get so much hate and backlash. Like, I remember
Oh,
there was this
yeah.
one YouTuber, his name's Adam McIntyre, and he was trying to expose Colleen Ballinger, Miranda Sings, and he got so much hate. But then, like a
Mhm.
couple months ago, she got exposed, and then people were on his side now.
Oh yeah, everybody was getting in talking about her. Yeah, I
Yeah, it was
understand.
crazy. I also did some videos on her too,
Mhm.
like how awful of a person she is.
Oh yeah, I know. Like when it comes to being on YouTube, people think you are exactly what you allow them to see. So if I do a video and I'm just being the nicest person in the world, you're probably going to find it hard to believe that when the camera turns off, that I'm probably one of the worst people in the world. And people are just looking at someone like Colleen or other people on YouTube and thinking, wow, they're entertaining, they're funny, they got to be good people. And unfortunately, there are people out there who get the worst of these people. And if you, I don't want to, I guess you can say it is exposing, but I could understand why someone would say, I had been friends or I worked with someone who had been a really bad person to me. But the thing is that the bigger of a YouTuber you are, the more backlash that you're going to get for speaking out on something, even if it's true, unfortunately.
Yeah, cause like when I was thinking about exposing his name, but I just thought, nah, I don't think it's worth it. Cause I think his fans are gonna hate me, and then I'm probably gonna get hurt, and I'm just
Hmm.
gonna be known as a crybaby. So I didn't want that. But I don't know. I don't. Like when he messaged me that, I even told my coworker, and she said, "Don't message him. He's not worth it." And then I told him I was sorry, and then he was like, I can't remember what he said. It's probably because I regressed it, but he was like, he messaged me like seconds while he was on stream. Like I'm not
Hmm.
kidding. After while he was on stream saying that, I can't remember what he said, but he said, "Well, what ride?" And to focus on his stream, and I was like, oh, whatever. And then my coworker said, don't follow this guy anymore. He's not worth it. I mean,
Hmm.
look at you. He's making you cry, and is that
Right. I mean, he
guys?
should have at least listened to what you have to say. Like, I find it difficult to be friends with people that are not great at communicating. So, like, let's say if you were to say, well, you know what, I wasn't talking about your guest that was on your show, like, at least allowing the person to explain. If you allow them to explain and then you want to get it mad after, then I guess go ahead. But if he doesn't even listen to what actually happened, it might not be worth it.
Yeah, because I really like the guy. I remember when I first watched his videos. It was because I was in a. I never had a boyfriend, surprisingly, at 30 years old, and
That's not
uh,
surprising. You're one of the lucky ones, to be honest with you. I know it
really,
sounds I honestly think so because there's pros and cons with having relationships earlier in life, and then there's pros and cons with having relationships later in life. You probably had less headaches than the rest of us. When you end up being with the wrong person, and like I would totally admit that I only have one child because I felt like what I did was a mistake. I had a child with someone that wasn't married and we didn't have the best relationship, and it happened. And since then, I've learned from that mistake, and I haven't had a child since because I just want to make sure that when that time happens that I have another child, that it's with the right person and I'm actually ready and happy in life. And I think a lot of people want to rush having relationships because they just think, oh, it's the coolest thing ever. It could be
yeah, I
cool,
thought it was the
but
coolest thing too.
trust me, I thought the same thing too. But when you meet the wrong person and then you go down the wrong path with that person, it's not worth it. Not.
Yeah. I have a cousin, like a step cousin, that has the same situation as you. Like, she had a kid with this guy, and I remember when I first saw him, like pictures of him, I just had a really bad vibe about him. He just looked like a
Hmm.
gangster, and a couple years later, like they broke up, and I don't know what happened. I think maybe she lost maybe he just was a deadbeat dad or something. But she ended up meeting
Hmm.
this guy, and they live in New Mexico, or is it New Mexico or is it Colorado? I don't know, somewhere around there. And she has like two kids with him, and they seem to be happier. And yeah,
Right.
she's like into makeup and stuff, and I'm like, oh well, at least she met someone that she loved. Because when I look at all my friends, I'm just like, I'm just glad I never had a kid. I don't want to screw my kid's life.
Don't trust me. Don't rush it. Don't rush it. And if you don't want any, that's perfectly fine too. Because I know, like, especially with because like my family, they're from the Caribbean, and I know you got family from Mexico. And in those cultures, they do like to pressure you about when you're going to have children, when are you going to do this, when you're going to do that. And sometimes those pressures make you go out and do things that you shouldn't have done during those times. So, even if someone is saying, hey, you're in your 30s, why don't you have any kids? There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that at all.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like nowadays you just gotta be careful because, like, I've seen a lot, like, what happened to certain kids I've seen in cases because I used to be in school and I studied, like, cases of, child abuse. And it's really
Mm-hmm.
sad. Like, it's mostly because the parents are just, like, so into themselves. Like, they don't really care about their kids. They just think that, oh, here's a phone, just go play.
Oh
And
my god. Oh, I hate that. I really do. Like my daughter, she's 10 years old. She is autistic.
oh,
Um,
that must be
but
hard.
so she's not severely autistic. So the thing is in school, she's actually performs at a high school level. However, her social skills are not good. Very difficult to make friends. She doesn't really understand things within her peers. A lot of autistic children, they have like obsessive behavior. So she's obsessed with like dinosaurs and Pokemon. She'll tell you anything about those things and be 100% right every single time. It's just a social aspect of things is very difficult for her. And we're working on that with the teachers and school therapists, and try to get her to be able to have more friends and things like that. So that type of stuff is rough. But with my daughter, I do everything with her. Like whatever show she likes, I'm watching it with her. I don't just give her the phone and say, hey, go sit down and be quiet like other parents do. I cannot believe when I see parents do that. Whatever my
Yeah,
daughter
I've
is
seen
watching,
parents do that.
whatever my daughter watches, I know it. Even if I am so bored of it, I just want to be that parent that's really engaged with my child. And I want to make sure that whatever she's into is child friendly. Because a lot of parents, they give the kids the phone and they have no clue what they're getting themselves into.
Yeah. I mean, I remember when that whole thing of the Momo's gonna kill you thing came out. I was like, oh, that looks gross.
Yes. And do you remember the one with the Tide Pods, the laundry detergent
Oh
thing?
yeah, I remember that. That was
That was so
gross.
scary because if little children gets their hand on that and swallow it, the younger they are, the more likely they're not gonna make it after swallowing something like that. And the thing is that these kids, they see something on TikTok, and I've seen toddlers on TikTok, like literally have their phone and they're watching videos on TikTok. I don't think that's appropriate.
Yeah, I
And they
don't
could
think so.
literally watch any
Mm.
video that's not child friendly and think that what they're seeing is okay.
Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, that's the thing too. Is that parents? I mean, if you're a parent, you just have to be engaged a little more on the kids. But also, you can't be inappropriate with them because there are some parents that are just really disgusting.
absolutely. Yeah, I totally agree. This is why I tell people, this is a scary world. If you don't want to bring children in it, I 100% agree. And I didn't realize how scary the world is until after I had my child. When you're a parent, you have to constantly be in that protector mode type of situation where it's like you always got to be watching out for your child and making sure that they're safe at all times. My daughter does have a phone, so I could track her every move. You know, and with technology that works, but with other things with technology, there's some things that are negative for children too. And like my daughter, funny, she sees me doing YouTube and she's like, "Oh, mom, I want to do it too." And I'm just like, "No way,
Oh
no
yeah, I
way."
was I was gonna ask you like, what does your daughter think of you being on YouTube?
She's never seen any of my videos. She knows what I do. She sees my setup and everything. And she says all the time, "Oh, mom, when can I be in your video?" And I'm just like, never, never. The thing is that I just feel like the younger children are, they shouldn't have, especially their own YouTube channels.
Yeah,
Just like
that's
how we're
true.
talking about how people might say inappropriate things in the comments and things like that.
Uh-huh.
The kids have to read that too. So the
Yeah.
kids, when they do videos, they want to see what people are saying under their comment section. And if they're saying something that could really hurt them, that could have really bad effects, you know? And I don't think that's appropriate. The thing is, my daughter's 10 years old.
Mhm.
She is obviously born around the time where it seems like YouTube is normal, even for children.
Yeah.
And I try to tell her it's not normal for kids to do this type of stuff. Some parents do it honestly because I think they're trying to make money off their kids, and a lot of them
Yeah.
do. And I understand my daughter doesn't look at the money aspect of it because she's only 10 years old. She doesn't really understand that concept when it comes to YouTube, but she just sees it to be a fun thing to do. And I'm just trying to let her know that, yeah, you see me do it. It's because I'm an adult and I can handle that type of thing. You're too young to be able to do something like that.
No, yeah, because my youngest brother, he tried to do a YouTube channel too. He even made a YouTube video. I'm like, you can't do this. And he's like, why? And he's like, because you're young, and I don't want you to get bullied by people. People
How
online
old
are
is
so.
he?
I don't know how he did it, but oh, right now he's 17.
Oh, okay. He was much younger.
Yeah, he was a lot younger, and I told him, there's a lot of crazy bullies out there, and there's
Hmm.
also predators, and
Oh yeah, a lot of those.
a lot of crazy
Unfortunately,
stuff can happen online. And so he just said, okay, fine.
yeah, definitely
Hello.
waiting is better. Yeah, you hear me, right?
Yeah, I hear you now. Yeah,
Mhm.
because I've seen child predators, and I mean, I haven't seen them in person, but I've heard stories about them. It's just
Oh, yeah.
insane.
A lot of them watch, like, content from younger, YouTubers that watch things from kids. You'll see it on the TikTok stuff. They're usually commenting on those videos, so unless you, stop them from commenting, you can actually see these people being creepy on the comments under
Yeah,
kids' videos,
yeah,
and
and that's
I don't get it. I just don't get it.
yeah, because I was telling you about the great Londini in TikTok, and I remember he
Mhm.
posted some videos of some creepy men looking at or commenting on little kids, being like, "Oh, you want to be my friend?" I'm like, "No, ew, that's gross. Why would you let
It is
some
insane.
creepy old man be friends with your kid? That's disgusting."
Mhm. Absolutely insane. And you know what? It's the parents that are running these accounts. They should be looking at these comments and be concerned. And for
Yeah,
whatever
because
reason, some of them aren't.
I actually know of a family channel that kind of like exposes their kids. Like I remember they recently had they're about to have another kid. Like they're about to have like four kids, but when they had their daughter, they were like really exploiting the crap out of her, like putting her on the thumbnails and a lot of the stuff that they post on YouTube. Like I remember they posted a video of like, oh, we're shooting a music video and there's a couple. These two people are engaged. I'm like, that's not true because I actually know that person and he's never been in
Mhm.
a relationship with anyone before. And also, he
Right.
was a former crush of mine too. That's how I know.
That's insane.
Yeah, so that family channel, they're also like, they're kind of lying to their audience about things because they
Oh, a
lied
lot of
about the
family
engagement.
channels. A lot of family channels are like that. They're just putting things out there just to keep people watching. And unfortunately, they even use their kids to get more views too. So that sucks. Yeah, I can't imagine doing that.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about being a YouTuber is that there's always a dark side. But,
Oh,
I
yeah, it's
just
a really dark side.
But I try to be as nice as I can, like when how I'm talking to you is how I usually talk to people. Although some people would think I'm really loud, and I'm like, I'm not
Really? I
yelling at
don't
you.
think so.
Well, it's just that my brothers they always tell me, "Why are you yelling?" I'm like, I'm not yelling. And that's how I just talk.
Hey, if you yell at your brothers, I totally get it. I'm the oldest. I spent my life yelling at my siblings, They're annoying.
Yeah, some of them are annoying, but some of them you just want to talk to for some reason. Like you're just like, hey, you want to talk about WWE or you want to talk about music or something,
Mhm.
and they're like,
Well, I hope
no.
I was a cool sibling. I don't know if I was. I don't know if my brothers and sisters would say I'm the cool one, but I hope I am.
Yeah. um, but going back to that one YouTuber I was talking about, there was something I
Mhm.
wanted to say. When he sent me those messages, he sent them to me in such an angry way, like really angry.
Mhm.
Like when I looked at his grammar, I'm like, dude, do you know that your grammar's really bad? But I think he was angry because when I first saw him on YouTube, I thought he was a really nice, genuine guy. Like really nice. He was skinny too, really skinny back in the day in 2016, 2015. But
Mhm.
when I
Wait,
saw
is
him,
he a gamer or like does
what
some
happened?
different type of content? Does he does gaming or is he does like a different type of content?
Well, he does a different type of content, but he usually goes on Twitch or Kick through VR, and he usually like does video games through it. And I
Mhm.
noticed that recently. I know someone donated him $500, and
What?
I know that's crazy. I don't know why that person would donate him $500. And I noticed he wasn't on Twitch the other day, and I'm like, and it's kind of obvious. Usually, when he gets money, he usually like a lot of money. He goes away and then comes back, goes away and comes back. And what also bugs me is that he's always on VR. And when you look at recent pictures of him, he got huge, like really huge.
Well, that's another thing with the whole YouTube and streaming thing is that a lot of time people are sitting down for a long time and all they're doing for most of their day is sitting and eating. And, especially the ones that do the mukbang videos,
Oh yeah, I
I've
don't do
never
those.
I've never really gotten into that. I a lot of people so I can get it that people might find that content to be, I don't know, entertaining. It's never been entertaining to me, but if you are just eating and not moving, and all you're doing is in front of the camera talking all day, you're not gonna have time to move around and get active. So I could totally understand you start off and you're probably at a smaller weight and then you end up gaining weight. I mean, um, I think, well, I don't want to say everybody's like that, but that's something that I've noticed nowadays, especially even with kids. The more and more you're on these phones and not really doing anything else, people are gaining a lot of weight.
Well, that is true. I didn't think about that either.
And that's why, like, for me, that's another thing too, because like I said, like with the pressures of being on camera, I'm like, okay, I'm not one of these skinny Instagram models or whatever. I mean, nothing wrong with being thin, and I don't think there's any. Well, I don't want to say that there's nothing wrong with being overweight. But if that's what makes you happy, then that's fine too, as long as you don't have any health complications. But for me, I especially, like, when you watch wrestling, all the girls are, for the most part, a certain body type, and pretty much every single one of them are pretty, and you kinda wanna be the same too, you know? And for me, I'm just like, "Oh, no, I'm talking about all these pretty girls, but I don't feel the same," you know? And it just took a while for me to feel more comfortable with being on camera, and it sucks to compare yourself to others, but I think a lot of people who do, make content online, they're constantly comparing themselves to other people in some form or fashion, whether it be, oh, so and so is pretty, so and so have more views than I do, or so and so have a really nice setup, whatever the situation is. A lot of people are comparing themselves to other people. And I think the best thing to do is to just look at what you got going on and just focus on yourself and just do whatever it is to make yourself improve in terms of what you're doing with your content. Because at the end of the day, people are going to come to see you on your channel and they're not worried about other people when they're coming to see you.
Yeah, I mean, that's something I should consider learning
Mhm.
because like I don't know, I mean, I've always like been really shy, and if you were to ask me like when I'm 13 like, "Hey, you would have your own YouTube channel." I'd be like, "No, you're lying. I would never have YouTube."
I, I would say the same thing too. I actually was, oh man, anybody who knew me, especially growing up, I was the shy quiet kid. Believe it or not, my teachers would like tell my parents, "Oh, she's doing well in school, but I never heard her talk." It
Oh
was that
yeah,
bad. I was
especially
so
with group work.
shy.
I
Oh
can't do
yeah.
group work.
Oh, that was so difficult for me growing up. I think things got a little bit better in like middle school. I actually did a Shakespeare play. I don't know if you know the Shakespeare play Hamlet. And
Yeah.
I actually played the lead. I actually played Hamlet. So I wrote I don't know, I wrote my own version of it, and the teacher thought it was cool, and she was like, "Oh, we should do a play." So we ended up doing a play, and I actually played Hamlet, and I dressed up as a guy and everything. And the show was so successful that they asked us to do another show, and I was just so surprised. And that was like the first thing I ever did to get me out of my shell a bit, because I was actually happy with doing it. I find that when you doing something that you're happy doing in front of an audience, you'll be less nervous. So like
Yeah.
with me, I was scared to go live. Do you know how many times I would sit here on StreamYard, ready to press go live, and don't even press it because I'm so scared?
Uh,
And nowadays, I'm just like, there's nothing to be scared of. I'm ready to go. But sometimes that very first time, you need a push or you need some type of encouragement just to get you going.
yeah. It just takes a while. You just have to find your niche. That's what happened to me. Like when I first started YouTube, I was hoping to do Marvel commentary and what other thing? Oh, Funko Pops, but people just were not into that stuff. And then I eventually did
What?
abandonings, like abandoned Sears, and people were into that. I'm like, what? Why do people like abandoned Sears? That's kind of odd, but
That's
okay.
interesting. Actually, I the first thing I saw from your page was I know it was wrestling related. I can't remember what it was exactly. But then what got me even more interested is you do another content that I really like is people with their cameras in the stores showing what's in the stores. Can you believe it that I
Oh
actually
yeah,
like that stuff so much all the time?
yeah.
I used to be so much into it, like in a really bad way, where I just watch people going to all the stores that I like. They're showing what's in the stores, and I'm just sitting at home saying, "I wish I can have that."
Oh yeah,
And
the
then and
holiday
not really just
decorations.
the holiday. Oh my god, Halloween. Halloween is my favorite time to watch people shop at the stores. Like as a goth person, my house looked like Halloween all the time, but like in a really nice way, not in like in a decorative like Halloweeny way. So for me, these type of things are stuff that I have in my house year round. So it's not like a Halloween thing for me. This is just how my house look like all the time. So I'm always watching that type of content. And I'm not too much of a Christmas person, but my daughter likes Christmas. So I'm always looking at different things that I could decorate the house with when it comes to Christmas. And I just love watching other people just showing what they can find at the stores. I don't know. I think actually the pandemic is what got me into that because a lot of us couldn't go anywhere. And those very
Yeah.
few people that would go somewhere, they would show what they see at the stores. So that's how I got into that. And I actually do like watch people doing that.
Yeah, cause when I was little, I remember I had a first grade teacher, and she like, I guess she kind of got us like into the holiday stuff. I remember she had a piano, and she also had like these songs like we would keep in the folder, and we would sometimes do these parties. And I remember there was a party for Thanksgiving, and I know it kind of sounds a little racist because like we were young and we didn't know, but like she had us
Mhm.
like for the Native Americans, she had them wear like these vests, but like put like shapes in them that we were learning at the time, like triangles and
Mhm.
diamonds, and then we would have pilgrim hats and all that stuff, and we would have like some kind of Thanksgiving dinner, and that was only like that one, and then there's Christmas, Easter, Valentine's Day, and I think that's what really got me into the holidays and stuff, like really into it
Mhm.
because of my first grade teacher. But eventually I learned the true story of Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I had to tell my daughter too, like I said, she's indigenous. So, I told her, I said, look, this is what Thanksgiving is. You don't want to celebrate it. I 100% understand. And she told me, she said, well, we never talked about that in school. And there's a lot of things that they actually, you want to know something that's interesting. I
What?
have never seen, my daughter is in 5th grade and I've never seen her write in cursive.
What? Oh, that's crazy.
And
I heard.
I asked her about that and I said, and she's like, well, what is that? And I'm like, I think by 3rd grade, maybe 2nd grade is when they actually started teaching us when we were growing up how to write in cursive. But my daughter doesn't even know what that is in 5th grade.
Yeah, because I heard they're bringing it back. I read an article about it a couple days ago.
That is very interesting. Very
Yeah, I
different.
mean, it's nice to learn because it's pretty, but I don't know.
Right. Especially when you're an adult, you have your own signature for, your bills, your documents, whatever you're signing. You got to learn cursive to do that. And I remember my daughter saw me writing my signature and she's like, well, what does that say? And I was like, that's my name. And she didn't know how to read that. And that's when I asked her, I said, yeah, I never did this in school. And she said, no, she doesn't know what that is. I was so surprised. And I never really realized that. I do pay attention to what she does in school, but I don't see cursive that much myself, that it never crossed my mind that she actually does not learn this at all.
Yeah, it's just crazy. But I don't know. I mean, things are a lot different now than they were back then. I used to think bullying has gotten better, but it just hasn't improved. And
No.
I'm just trying to like do the best that I can to like make sure people I don't do that to anyone else, or my brothers don't do
Mhm.
that to anyone else too.
Right, because it's gotten a lot more extreme because of people using, the internet. Even when you think you escaped somebody from school, when you get home, here you are on Facebook or Instagram, and they're bullying you there too. So it's like there's new ways to spread bullying, and it's not cool at all. At
Yeah, it's
all.
not.
And I actually feel, and that's another thing, because I thought like, okay, if I upload videos, maybe I should like not let anybody comment on it so like I can avoid stuff like that. At first I thought that that was a good idea, but then I was like, let me see what the comments look like. And honestly, I haven't been bullied or anything. But you just never know. Like, you might have nothing but great comments and then just that one person to come along and ruin it?
Yeah, I just try not to let it bother me. Like I don't like being one of those people that deletes their comments. Mostly because sometimes it's not criticism. Mostly it's like them trying to tell you, hey, I think you're turning into this, and I don't think you're, because I know some YouTubers that unfortunately have really big egos and they just do whatever
Oh
they
yeah.
want, and they just don't listen to their audience. They're just like, I'll do whatever I want, and then like their audience is like, nah, I'm gonna subscribe for you because from you because you're being a terrible person.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I agree. I try to be engaging with my audience. And I even tell my audience, I said, hey, if you ever want to come and do a live stream with me, I'm totally cool with that. Like yesterday, one of my very first supporters on my channel who would literally comment on like all my videos and everything, he would always say, oh, I would love to, do YouTube videos one day. And that was like almost a year ago when he first told me that. And then yesterday, he finally got the courage to come up. And I said, look, even if you don't have the nicest equipment, don't worry about how you look. Just come on and just have fun. And he had a really great time. People
Yeah.
aren't as worried about things as you are. Like everything that I was worried about, nobody's worried about those things. And sometimes you got to tell yourself that.
Yeah, because when I started doing more TikToks or reels on Instagram exposing my face, a lot of people actually, I get more views exposing my face on Instagram than just like regular videos, other reels that I do. I'm like, that's weird.
Well, I think a lot of people want to actually see the person behind the content. There's a lot of people that just don't come on camera at all. And that kind of leaves a mystery to you when they never get a chance to see you. But when they get the chance to see you, they feel like they can connect with you, because there's actually a actual person to see. Personally, I don't mind if someone comes on camera or not. I just want to hear voices. That's what I love. So for me, I'm more of a podcast person. I like content that I can just listen to, not necessarily have to sit down and watch. So like people doing interviews, people just sitting there talking about a topic, and while I'm listening to them, I could be, I don't know, washing the dishes or uh cleaning around the house, whatever the situation is, so I don't have to just sit there and not do anything. So I'm more of a listener than someone to sit down and watch. So at the end of the day, how someone look or whatnot is definitely not going to be something I'm thinking of. But that's something I had to tell myself too is sure, I know what I'm insecure about, but other people are not going to pick up on those things. And the only thing that they're going to care about is what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, that is true. Um,
Yeah.
so I was gonna ask you something. I remember when I first saw you. I think it was like Plane Ride from Hell type of video. I think it was that
Uh-huh.
one.
Yeah, I know that one. That probably one of my videos that had probably the most views because it's such a controversial topic. I was very nervous about doing that review because I was like, oh no, because people really love like Ric Flair and all those people who are involved in that. And I was like, a lot of
Yeah,
people are going to see this and say, well, I don't care what Ric Flair did. Don't talk bad about him. You know what I mean? And people actually don't care about what those guys did on the plane. And I didn't get like hate comments, but a lot of people just thought that um, is this a topic that people shouldn't be covering? It happened in the past, just leave it in the past, you know? And I
yeah,
didn't
but
really feel the same way about that.
yeah, because I think the problem with when it's because when I did the Vince McMahon video, I've always known that he was kind of a creep, but I just there are always those fans that are always into him that love him and support him no matter what. But I think the
Mhm.
problem is we just a lot of us have hidden so many things, a lot of dark things, but the more we hide them, the more it's just gonna get worse, and nobody can move past that, unfortunately.
Right. What he did, it's absolutely insane. He just abused his power and took advantage of people, and he did it for so long. And I think another big issue is that a lot of people knew about it and didn't say anything.
Yeah,
That
because
just makes it so much worse.
when I look at R. Kelly, I kind of connected too, and I remember people
Yeah.
they're kind of the same basically, like rich and
Yeah.
powerful, and I'm just like, well, are we gonna let these rich people do that to other people or younger people? Because look what R. Kelly, Vince McMahon, and all those people have done. Harvey Weinstein, and well,
Mhm.
Vince McMahon allegedly, because like who knows if they're gonna take it to court or not.
Right. I believe a lot of it. I can't say I believe every single thing, but she's not the first person to take him to court. Every other time he's been able to settle in court and, pay them to just keep quiet. And this time around, he told her that he was going to pay her 3 million, but only gave her 1 million and just decided, hey, I'm not going to pay you the other 2 million. And that's what really encouraged her to, do the civil suit.
But yeah, I mean, there was just something about that history that got me really hooked and got me interested in doing like videos of Dark Side the Ring, which is why. And I'm kind of surprised people watch them because at first I thought people were gonna hate them.
Oh, I thought the same thing too. I thought only people who like wrestling would probably get into it, but believe it or not, a lot of people who don't watch wrestling really do love the stories from these
Yeah, it's
episodes.
it's it's crazy, but it is kind of sad, and I don't know. I'm kind of into that stuff because again, it kind of has like some kind of psychology, which I'm really into.
Mhm. Absolutely, yeah. A lot of people want to understand like what makes a person do things like that. And also, how does somebody have that much power to convince someone do any of that stuff. Any of that I don't know if you actually read, I think it was like 17 pages,
No, I
of
read the whole I
Shiva.
read almost the whole thing. It was like 67, 76 pages. It was long. It was
Okay,
after
so
work.
I read like a little more of like a shorter version where they kind of put like the juicy stuff. Um, I was shocked. I was very shocked. The thing is that I'm a firm believer in I don't want to say anybody, but people are capable of doing evil. It's up to you to just not do that, you know? And
Yeah.
I've always looked at Vince McMahon to obviously be the owner of WWE, but I never looked at him to be like this really great person either. So to read the details, some of those things are just too wild to believe, you know?
I know.
And I'm just reading this and I'm just like, is this a movie or something? Like, what is this? Like, I found it hard to believe at first. And because you just don't want to believe that people are going to take it that far, you know?
Yeah, cause ever
And
since I saw the shows for Surviving R. Kelly, I'm just like, if he could do it, anyone could do it.
oh, yeah.
Sadly.
Yeah, I absolutely believe that. And it's not just Vince McMahon. There have been other people throughout, WWE history that has been accused of things like that too. And for whatever reason, those things just slide all these years. And we're finally at a time where it's like, okay, it looks like people are finally going to be held accountable for these horrible things that they've done, you know?
Yeah, cause
And
I could see why Randy Savage acted the way he did. Cause I did a video about him recently, and
mhm.
I could see why he was so protective of Miss Elizabeth. And people were commenting too, like, "Oh, now I know why Randy Savage was so overprotective of Miss Elizabeth because he knew there was something weird going on in the
Oh, yeah,
backstage."
absolutely. I agree. And even nowadays, there are some, couples within the WWE, and as long as you have not just like your partner, but friends to make sure everything is okay, you know, your career can go smoother. And that's unfortunate. Like nobody should be in the workplace and feel like they have to do things they don't want to do. Just so that they can advance in their career. That's just horrible. I would hate to have to feel that no matter where I work.
Yeah, it's terrible. But
Yep. And we can still love wrestling at the same time, even though those horrible things happen. We don't have to glorify the horrible things that happen. There's still a lot of wonderful things about wrestling to enjoy. But those people who have done things they shouldn't have done, they need to be held accountable, including
yeah,
Vince
they
McMahon.
do. They do, but I still watch WWE, but again, whoever did that bad stuff, even if Vince did it, most likely he probably did it. I just don't support, the person. I mean, I still love WWE. I mean, I grew up with it with my
Yeah,
brothers, and it's just,
yeah, you can separate the person from the actual company. I think that's you can definitely do that. You
but
saying
Vince
that you love
McMahon's gone.
WWE is different. Huh?
But Vince McMahon's gone from the company. Like he's not there anymore. So,
Right, right. So this time I think he's actually gone. I don't think that other time, like when he was like, oh, how he was stepping down from being CEO, because he came right back after that anyway.
oh
But this
yeah, I
time with
remember.
everything that's been said this past month or so, there's just no coming back from that at all.
Yeah, this is crazy. But
Hmm.
I mean, unfortunately, I've been debating like also like should I like John Cena or should I not like John Cena? Because he
Oh,
recently
you
said
heard what he
something.
said? Oh God.
Yeah, I was like, oh, John Cena, why did you go to Howard Stern again? Did you not learn the first time?
I agree. I agree. Because even Randy Orton had comments too, but he didn't come off like he was trying to defend Vince McMahon, you know. But John Cena seemed to. I was kind of surprised. I thought he was gonna like not answer that question. Like, you can answer something but not give the answer people are looking for. So I thought he was
Yeah,
going to dance around the question, but really, he really kind of showed like that, he still have some type of I don't know, allegiance to Vince McMahon or something, and I was kind of surprised about that. And I was just like,
But
"Did you not hear what happened?"
yeah, I don't. He's probably too busy to read all that stuff. I'm assuming.
Right. But let's be honest, sometimes people don't care. Sometimes people will say, "Well, yeah, so and so they said that about them, but I love that person, so I'm gonna stick by them no matter what." You know, there's a lot of people that's like that. They would hear about certain things and they're just going to wait to hear if you've been proven guilty. But guess what? There are people who would know you're guilty about something and still not care.
Yeah, I used to be like that too. Like I remember there was this I'm not gonna say the name because I'm pretty sure he's gonna come after me. But I used to support this guy who had a business here in Anaheim, and he posted on Instagram like there was a celebrity, and I messaged him and said, "Are you sure this person was in your shop?" And he never responded. And then like a couple of days later, he people were calling him out saying that, "Oh, he's lying. He forged everyone's signatures." And at first I'm like, "Oh, come on, guys! Don't you think you're being so mean to him?" And then
Mhm.
like but the more I looked at it, I'm like, I can't side with him anymore because, like, first off, I come from a background where I worked. My family, my mom and dad worked like jobs and trying to make money, and they had it really rough.
Mhm.
And with this guy, he basically took advantage of other people's money and stole money. Never paid them back, actually, to this day. And I'm just like,
Wow.
yeah, I can't support this guy anymore. I mean, if he hasn't paid back everyone who he's taken money from because of his business, and I can't
Mhm.
support this guy anymore. And unfortunately, he's still running a business. Like he's been doing other things to try to grab more customers. But the problem is, these customers think he's like a really nice guy, but I know for a
Mhm.
fact that he took so much money from his other customers, and every time they try to speak out, he gets really offended or he calls them Karens on Instagram.
Oh my god, that's so unfortunate.
Yeah, and he was also on a show on uh I don't want to say the name of the channel, but it was like a big channel with his boyfriend, and I guess they did something where the guy he was doing like bite massages, and that's not true, like, and
Wait,
they never
what?
mentioned, like, he was doing bite massages because he was saying, "Oh, our shop has been cyberbullying." I'm like, "No, it wasn't. People were stating their facts. Like, you were stealing from
Mhm.
people's money. They weren't bullying you." So
Right.
yeah, he was that desperate to go to that TV show. Probably needed
That is
money.
very interesting. Very
Yeah.
interesting. So you said there was on a TV show or was this like a online show?
No, it was a TV show on this popular channel. I don't know if I should say it, but in the show, he said that they were doing bite massages in order to protect the business, their
Mhm.
shop. But it's not true that they were cyberbullied, because a
Wow.
lot of people they would like say that, "Oh, I had my money stolen from this shop. I
Mhm.
I I bought all these things, but unfortunately, this guy never gave me my stuff that I ordered from this guy."
Right. So their defenses were being bullied.
Yeah, like he would like go on Instagram and he would say like, "Oh, look at this hater. Look at this person being a Karen or trying to make a bad name for my shop." And I'm like, "Well, first off, you're saying bad things about I mean, you're saying bad things about these people and you never paid them back their money that they
Mhm.
deserved." So, I don't know,
That's
over time I just started realizing, he's not a really nice person. Like I shouldn't support him
yeah.
anymore.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate. But I totally understand. And then that's another thing too, the whole cyberbullying, like people do use that to be, I don't know, to excuse their horrible behaviors. I've seen a lot of people do that too. Once you
Yeah,
have a
that's terrible.
platform, whether if it's on YouTube or Twitch or whatever it is, you have to, especially if you really care about your platform, you gotta, be serious about it and stay true to, being a good person. And if you're not a good person, people are going to see that at some point.
Yeah, because sometimes I'll admit I come off as really defensive, but it's mostly because of
Mhm.
my past experiences and most recently with that guy this year.
Yeah.
it's not that I'm trying to be mean. It's just I'm trying to protect my feelings and try to not to cause a scene or anything. I try to be as nice as I can with everyone.
Right. A lot of us, we put our guards up, and I totally understand. And I try not to do that on camera. I am protective about what it is that I'm doing. I'm not the best on YouTube or anything like that. I don't think like that even close. But I do take what I do seriously, and I don't think anybody really has to like what I do, but I do feel a little protective over it, because I put my hard work into it. And if you don't like it, that's fine. You don't even have to say you don't like it, just keep it moving. But there are some people that will tell you, you shouldn't be doing this or you shouldn't be doing that. Like the other day, I started like uploading some like Black History
Oh yeah, I was
content
gonna tell
related
you
to
about that.
wrestling.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah, so I've been thinking about doing it, but I was like, I know people are gonna say crazy things if I do this. And I was like, you know what? I don't care. I'm just gonna do it. And then I did it. And I got a lot of comments about people saying horrible things about slavery or being black or I was expecting it, but I was just hoping that that wouldn't be the case. And it happened. People are racist. People will say whatever they want to because you can't see them. They're nowhere near you to say that to your face. They have no problem putting those little nasty comments. And I wasn't surprised, but I was just like, wow, okay. I'll just delete those comments.
Yeah, I mean, I understand, as someone who's also like seen how the black people have been treated because I used to take an ethnic studies class in community college. It was really hard. I had to drop it out. Like I had to drop out of it
Mhm.
because it was so hard. But I learned
Wow.
like a lot of really dark things about the black community and what they went through because what they had to go through because of the Americans. It's really sad.
Yeah, it is, and all I was just trying to do was just celebrate accomplishments that, black wrestlers have made in wrestling. And I understand when people say, well, you know what, other lives matter too. And I'm just like, yeah, it does. But, for blacks, we've felt underappreciated for so long. And what made me actually do those videos is because I know you say you watch WWE, but AEW, they have quite a few black wrestlers too. And I kid you not, I would say like 95% of the time of all of February, the black wrestlers have lost their matches. And I just thought that was really weird. And I was just like, you know what? If you're not being shown any appreciation, I should do that, you know? So that's why I ended up doing those videos. But then there's people who don't like that because I'm just showing love towards black people. I show love towards everybody, you know?
Yeah.
But I'm taking the time off to show specifically what black wrestlers have accomplishment in Black History Month, I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah, cause I am gonna say something, but I love Becky Lynch, but the fact that they're making her the main event in WrestleMania again, I'm just like,
Oh.
come on, let other people have
Yeah.
a chance. Like, why can't they give it to Jade Cargill? Like, she was really cool at that Royal Rumble.
I mean, that's the only thing she's been able to do in WWE. So I get it. She probably wasn't going to get that opportunity yet. But Becky Lynch has had so many opportunities. I was hoping to see someone else go against Rhea Ripley, but hopefully Rhea wins. That's what
I
I'm
don't know. We'll
hoping.
see.
I don't want to see Becky win.
Yeah, I don't want to either, but I kind of wish like she would have gotten another opponent. Like, I feel like
hmm
Raquel could beat her, but again, I could see why they don't. I don't think she's there yet, but I don't know. I feel like a lot of like people of ethnicities don't get the appreciation that they should.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I understand. Yeah. It's just that. So the thing is that, Caucasian people make the majority, no matter where you go. So then you have, blacks and Latinos and Asians. They're always going to be the minority for the most part. And unfortunately, it just seems like they don't get the best opportunities, even in wrestling too. Like no matter how great they are in the ring, you're just like, well, how come they're not getting these big opportunities? And to be honest, a lot of time that does have to do with race, even when people don't want to admit that. But not
Yeah,
always.
that's true. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Hmm. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting, whatever happens with WrestleMania. I know they had the pay-per-view. Did you see the pay-per-view yesterday, Elimination Chamber?
Oh yeah, I did. I didn't see the Rhea Ripley Nia Jax one.
It was so early in the morning. I couldn't do it. I was like, this is just too early for me. I gotta sleep. I couldn't do it. I really tried, like minutes before the show started. I just couldn't even sit up. At that point, I was just like, you know what? I'll just catch this later.
Yeah, I mean, I watched some of it. It was okay.
Hmm. Right. I could imagine it's not their best, but things will be better for WrestleMania for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just I've heard a lot of things that supposedly I've been keeping up with the Vince McMahon allegations. I know this is random talk, but like
Hmm.
I've heard some things that supposedly there's gonna be new and really there's gonna be a huge like how do you say it? Like a huge bomb? Like there's gonna be like huge news before WrestleMania, and I'm kind
That's
of
what I'm
like
hearing too. I'm
yeah, because I've been watching people's videos. Like I've been like whatever anyone says about Vince McMahon.
right. I mean, the story has been interesting, but I could imagine that somebody with big information would wait right before then to give the huge news. Because that's what they did before when they talked about when the first allegations came in. That was right before the what pay-per-view was that? Royal Rumble, and
Oh yeah.
also that same weekend when The Rock became part of
Oh
the
yeah, the
TKO group.
TKO thing.
Right. So it was like as if wherever this came from, they were waiting for a big moment to drop the news. So if it happens at WrestleMania, I wouldn't be surprised. Like right before that. Hmm.
I mean, I'm kind of scared about it because the way they talk about it is kind of scary. Like, what could be
Right.
worse than what we already know?
The crazy thing is, what I think is for them to continue to drop a bomb onto this story, other people are going to be named in this, and it's going to be people that you're not even going to expect to be
Yeah,
named.
cause one thing, there was this woman who I was watching her video, and she makes really good videos of the Vince McMahon allegations, but they're like really
Hmm.
long, but they're so good. I don't know if I should name her channel, but it's like really good in my
Hmm.
opinion. And I remember she said that she was trying to figure out who it was, and I think for one of the CEO or something like that, and she said the person that was in this was Triple H, and I'm like Triple H. Oh crap! I hope
Yeah,
it's not him.
I'm kind of believing it too. Because there are people that she specifically did not name in that suit, but she referred to them based off their position.
Yeah,
And yeah, one of those position is a position that Triple H has held. So I wouldn't be surprised, and I wouldn't be surprised if Stephanie's name is involved as well. So I do believe sometime in the near future, even if it isn't before WrestleMania, we're going to hear a lot more names, and some of them are just really going to surprise you.
yeah, because I remember last weekend, this lady she went on News Nation and she said some things about Ashley Massaro and that they were best
Yes, I think
friends,
that was her best friend. Yeah.
supposed best
Yeah.
friend, but it turned out she was a liar.
Really?
Yeah, she lied. That's what everyone said that oh her daughter went on Twitter or something and said that I don't know this lady. She's been obsessed with messaging me about my mom and my family for years.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I was
I gotta
shocked. I
look
was
into that because I actually did see that news clip, and I had already knew about the Ashley Massaro story because that's been around for years. A lot
yeah,
of
because
people
when
have
I first
forgotten about it. She said she was her best friend, right? The
yeah,
lady on the news.
and yeah, but Ashley's daughter went on online and said that that's not true. That the lady's been like harassing her and her family about her mom, and
What?
she's lying. I know, I was like that too. I'm like, so does that mean Stephanie McMahon's in the clear?
I mean, I don't know because now it just makes you wonder, like, what is true or not. I don't know if those documents from that suit is out.
Yeah,
I
cause
would have to look and see, but then because I think they mentioned that the Stephanie McMahon name was in those documents. So I don't know. I would have to look for that to see if they are actually public.
yeah, cause what was I gonna say? Cause I recently bought that thing, the Ashley versus WWE thing. I didn't find out about it until I was reading the Britney Spears book that came out last year or this
Hmm.
year,
I
and
think it
then
was
I
last year.
saw. Yeah, cause I saw this thing and it said recommended Ashley versus WWE, and I'm like, Ashley Massaro made a book, and it was like
That's
a podcast, and I'm like, oh.
yeah.
And then when this whole thing happened, I looked into it and I was like, dang man, that's a lot.
Yep. I agree. I
Yeah, because
agree.
when I told my brother, one of my brothers about it, like he said he read the whole allegations of what they did to her, and he said it was
Hmm.
the most depressing thing he's ever read.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when I listened to it, I was going to Disneyland, and then once I went to Disneyland, I got so depressed.
Oh yeah. That was like the fun out of everything.
Yeah, don't
Yeah.
listen to that before. Don't listen to it. Listen to it after you go to Disneyland. Don't do it before
Right.
because that's just
I
gonna
agree.
that's bad.
Hmm.
But anyway, it was nice having you on here. It's just the reason why I had to end this because my mom doesn't know I have a YouTube channel yet. So
Yeah.
unfortunately,
Aw, it's okay. I mean, I know like your parents could be really protective because they probably think that it's a negative thing. But they just have to trust that you're going to do the right thing on your platform. Because trust me, there's a lot of people who have a platform and they are just, I guess, not doing what they should be doing when it
yeah,
comes to being online. So
we're
I get
trying to
it,
get
you know.
money.
Mm-hmm. I understand. But I do appreciate you having me on. If you ever want someone to come on, let me know. I'll definitely make some time.
Yeah, I'll let you come on next time if you want. I mean, I always. It's just that I work 3 days a week, so that's why it's kind of hard for me to like have time to do all other things.
Yeah, I understand. You got to make time if you can, and if you can't, that's fine too. Just make your way around, whatever content you're trying to make.
Yeah. Well, it was nice having you on here. I got to know a lot about you, and
Mm-hmm.
and it was really nice of you to like present yourself. Like usually, I mostly see you through your wrestling stuff, but I never thought that you would like express a lot more today than I had thought.
Yeah, I know a lot of
Yeah.
people think that all I know is wrestling, and I'm just like, hey, I talk about other things too.
But I just feel like it's important that all of us talk about our mental health struggles, and I've
Mm-hmm.
seen how it affects other people, and it's pretty sad.
Right. I understand. Absolutely. And everybody feeling that there is a safe space makes people feel comfortable.
Yeah. Well, thank you for coming on the show, and I'll see you next time. And thank you for all of you for watching this video. And if you want to donate, you can. The link is in the bio, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye, Tati. Have a great day.
You too.